I grew up at a time in the church where performance music was a part of each Sunday church service. Apart from the congregational songs, there were always one or two performance music pieces performed by a choir, a singer, or an instrumentalist. This gave budding musicians a chance to develop their musical abilities and learn the importance of developing a heart of worship. It also gave opportunity for the church's gifted musicians and singers to utilize their talents to encourage and build up the congregation. In recent years, most churches have done away with performance music pieces in their services. The logic being that performance music pieces cannot be considered to be worship in nature because they are sung and played to the congregation and may have lyrics about God as opposed to lyrics directed to God. In some ways this is true, and in churches where the focus on performance overshadows the act of worship, it may be beneficial to reboot by doing away with performance music for a while. But I believe there is a more balanced way, and that is to view performance music as a legitimate form of music worship, with there being clear training and teaching for the musicians that their music performance should be given as an offering of worship to God in the building up of the body. Performance musicianship. This is musicianship that has at its central focus the ability and expertise of the musician, where their virtuosity, artistry, talents, stage presence, ability to engage and entertain an audience are central. Can this kind of musicianship be worshipful? I believe yes. Where the musician's heart is fundamentally oriented to bringing God the glory and humbly credits Him as the author of his or her abilities, and the pieces they perform are well thought out as they relate to the overall service context and theme, yes, I believe that this kind of musicianship can be very worshipful. I used to think that unless my motives were 100% pure, I couldn't really properly lead music worship. I felt so guilty and shameful when I realized that during my times of leading worship, that my thoughts would regularly go to, for example, how awesome I felt, or maybe even how tired I felt, or that my singing or playing on that particular Sunday seemed to be awesome, or I hope that the congregation preferred me to last week's worship leader, or thinking that I looked maybe great that Sunday. I believed the existence of those thoughts disqualified me. Yet it seems that these thoughts don't really freak God out. He Himself incredibly calls us His hands and His feet. It says in 1 Corinthians 12, verse 27, "Now you are the body of Christ, and each one of you is a part of it." How can I, a proud and broken man, be worthy to be called His hands and His feet? Well, apart from Christ, we're not worthy. It's Jesus that's my righteousness. Jesus is my purity. Jesus' work of forgiveness in my life qualifies me, not my feeble attempts at perfection. On that basis, I may, in spite of my sinful brokenness, be the hands and the feet of Jesus. Effective worship musicianship is music making that has at its very core a desire to creatively express love, praise, and worship of God. This kind of musicianship doesn't set out to wow an audience with how awesome and incredible the singing and playing is. This kind of musicianship doesn't intentionally try to impress the congregation with a flashy, self-serving style of playing and singing. Have you ever been distracted by a worship leader or band and quietly wondered to yourself that if they ingested a truth serum, they might inadvertently blurt out something like, "This song means absolutely nothing to me, but I feel it's the perfect vehicle to highlight my awesome musical talents"? Even though we all know we won't perfectly carry out our ministry due to our broken humanness. Our heart's desire should be to humbly provide a musical environment that enables the congregation to focus their attention on Jesus. I believe that the most effective congregational worship music has simple, easy-to-learn melodies, clear, understandable lyrics, simple chord progressions, and harmonies, and easy-to-learn instrumental parts. This is not to say worship musicianship should be elementary or dumbed down. Not at all. I've found that it takes a great amount of discipline and artistry to play, sing, or write in this way. This kind of musicianship is about paring things down to a kind of less is more place. Knowing what to leave out is sometimes more difficult than what to put in. This kind of musicianship always asks the question, how can I best serve the congregation in leading them to musically worship their Creator? It's been a lot of fun spending time with you talking about worship, specifically as it relates to music, talking about the biblical underpinning of it, talking about the different aspects of worship, talking about songwriting, talking about specific and practical things like how to put a worship set together. I wish you God's richest blessings as you continue in this pursuit of bringing God glory, bringing God honor, complimenting God, also bringing your lament, your sadness before God in worship.